Welcome back to a very special edition of Wrestling Brain. It's a Forbidden Door preview show. Look at this all-star cast surrounding me. We went to the damn modeling agency for this one, folks, to bring in three of my dear pals to go through our picks, our predictions, our excitement level for this Sunday's edition of AEW's Forbidden Door. Off the top, let's welcome him in. He's got a brand new newsletter. He's got... Now, RL, do you happen to be wearing shorts by any chance?
I am wearing shorts, yeah.
He's in the world's coolest outfit, long sleeve and shorts. Ryan Lambert's in the house. Watch your mouth. Ryan, what is the name of the new newsletter? I signed up, but for Blake, I was going to plug your old thing, and I'm like, I can't be doing that.
Yeah, you don't do that. The new one is called Perfect Takes.
Perfect Takes. Go subscribe to RL, folks. Do it.
Thank you.
How are you today, my brother?
Chilling, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good as gold because I'm also here with fashion icon, mod of the channel, brings the guillotine down. He is Matty Mac. Yeah, Kev Sells in the chat is right. This is our King's Crown lineup for the WBCW heads. What's up, Matty?
Yeah, what's up, man? How are you?
Yeah, I am doing good as gold because I am joined also by a man I got to eat dinner with that Friday. Some fine Mediterranean food by the finest haircut attached to Wrestling Brain. Aaron McCamps is in the house. Aaron Campo. Hey, Aaron, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm very well because I'm joined by Ryan Lambert. No, I can't. I'm joined, of course, the man keeping his steady hand on the steady wheel. Robert Hamburg presents Bobby Tubier is producing this stream. Bobby, I love this scene you produced. It looks great.
Yeah, just trying to play off the palm tree aesthetic that they're doing for Forbidden Door this year, which I really think is cool. I think they did a great job on the graphics and everything this year. AEW is getting better at that every month, I feel like.
I feel like I'm fond of basically all of them that come out. I like the one that ripped us off for Revolution.
Yeah.
This Forbidden Door one, also very cool.
Double or Nothing is cool too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I guess I do like most of the graphics output they've been doing and that they've improved. I agree, Bobby. Now, maybe that will be the only nice thing I say about AEW tonight. Not that I'm down on the company. I think they've had a very good year. I just think they have cooled off during this Forbidden Door build. Now, I don't know if everybody feels that way. We'll talk about it. I'm going to start with you, Aaron. Scale of 1 to 7. Where's your anticipation for this Sunday's card?
I think when you asked on Blue Sky, I said it was a 4, and I don't think I've moved off of that. It's going to be a fun show. I'm sure they always are. A 4 for an AEW pay-per-view is so much better than what I'm usually doing on a Sunday night. So I'm excited for the show. I think it'll be entertaining. There's just no stakes to anything, really. And it's hard to get super, super excited for a show where that's the case for me.
RL, what Aaron's saying actually really resonates with me too, where it's like I'm excited to watch all these matches, but I don't care who wins that many of them. Does that make sense? Does that reflect your opinion on this show? And where are you at 1 to 7 wise?
I'd say 1 to 7. You know, I'm like a 5.5, a 6. Like, it's an AEW pay-per-view. I'm gonna, like Aaron said, I'm gonna enjoy myself. Lock it in. That's a guarantee. You know, but at the same time, it is just kind of like this feels like the most disposable nothing pay-per-view they've had in over. Like, they can't even give us a world title match. At least the last Forbidden Door, they gave us a world title match
across 2 companies.
Yeah, like 3 if you count CMLL, 4 if you count Stardom, right? Like, Jesus Christ. And
I guess there's the women's world title match, but also
there is one.
Tekla and Starlight Kid.
Oh, that's right, Starlight Kid. Yes, of course, I forgot about that.
But still,
yeah. How many world championships across 4 promotions? And you know, it's a little. It feels a little nothing, in part because of all the behind the scenes, technical issues with visas and whatnot, I guess. But doesn't make me excited for the pay-per-view knowing that.
There is something to that. Matty Mac, you're a man with a brain on the ground in Japan, so to speak. Are you any more into this show than Aaron or RL so far? Of course, you're, I think, the person on here right now who watches the most Stardom. Maybe that's a bigger draw. What's your number, and where are you sort of on this show heading into Sunday?
Yeah, I'm kind of right in between RL and Aaron there. I'm about a 5. Like they said, there's not a ton of stakes in it. Super intrigued in 2 of the matches, but there's a 3-way tag that's just like, okay, this should be fun. And again, I'm going to enjoy it. Like RL said, it'll be fun. It's just no stakes, very few stakes, and not a ton of stories outside of the company kind of coming into the company. And that hurts my excitement a bit.
Yeah, I hear all three of you. I'm right alongside Aaron. I'm a 4 on this one. I think this is one that would be helped by being a Saturday night pay-per-view for me, or on a long weekend, something like that, where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna have a couple beers, watch some fun matches, maybe get a little takeout, stay up late. Hell, I'll make a night of it. You know, ZSJ and Kenny's gonna deliver. But on Sunday and late, I just feel like the build to this card has sucked. Like, even Kenny and Zach last night having that very weak brawl in the middle of the ring with soft forearms, I felt like that was very evocative of this build to me. I was like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, even this match can't fire up in any sort of way. So the upside to that, I suppose, is lots of room to sort of over deliver and get excited on Saturday. I don't think any of us are making complaints about what we think the in-ring quality is going to be, but I just feel like they were riding so hot exiting Dynasty and Double or Nothing, especially. And to now be here where it's just like, it's hard to have a ton of enthusiasm. It's shitty to have arrived at, but let's see if we can talk ourselves into it now, because some of the matches themselves, I do feel like are going to be well worth our time watching. Matty Mac, I'm going to start. Oh yeah.
So
Bobby,
quickly,
please.
could I just throw a stat at you? I was researching this earlier today because it to touch on what RL was saying about there not being a men's world title match. How many pay-per-views do you think they've done in the history of the company that didn't have a men's world title match?
What a great question, Bobby. 4.
It's considerably less. It's actually only 2 ever.
And the other one would be All Out after the first All in London, right?
Exactly. And sorry, 2 before this one. So there is another one as well. So All Out,
The
exactly
first Double or Nothing.
Exactly what you said. All Out 2023, they didn't have a world title match because it was like 2 days after Wembley or whatever day after Wembley, and they had a split crew. And then the only other one was Wrestle Dream 2023 because Adam Cole broke his foot like days before the show. And those were back-to-back, I think, pay-per-views, which is kind of weird. But that's the only time that they've never had a men's world title match on pay-per-view. So this is pretty unprecedented.
That's super interesting, Bobby. Thank you for letting us know that. And once again, also number representation from Suji in the IWGP World Heavyweight title, which I think would assuage at least my annoyances with that. It's like, okay, they're putting New Japan actually needs the focus right now. This is a good way to go about it. Matty Mac, let me ask you this. What do you think main events this show on Sunday?
I think the cage match main events this show on Sunday.
Is that the right call?
It's probably the right call for the build that they've done to this. I think that story has the most put into it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So from that aspect, yeah, for sure. For my interest level, not really. But again, I think Zach said the other night, this is more of a naughty cupboard than a forbidden door. So this is what we're getting.
A naughty cupboard is really perfect. Let's start there then with Team Briscoe, here represented by the extremely forbidden team of Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin, and Konosuke Takeshita, who is the New Japan Television Champion. So don't you forget about that. Taking on MJF's team, equally forbidden, with Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Jake Doyle, the former member of the New Japan roster, Kazuchika Okada, and former IWGP Global Champion Andrade El Idolo. So getting all the bona fides in there to make this as forbidden as possible. Aaron, I'm borderline not looking forward to this match, despite the caliber of worker in here, which is extremely high. I said on last week's show that I wish they would have kept Fletcher and Takeshita out of this. I don't think they need another dynamic in this match, and I think that those two would be really needed, really welcomed on this card doing their thing. Is there something to chew on here that I'm missing, or is there a reason to get excited here that maybe you're feeling that I'm dodging?
I think anytime Darby Allin is involved in a steel cage match, that'll be cool, right? Like there will be some cool spots in the match, but I think when your main event on a pay-per-view is a way to get like 8 guys together on the screen at the same time to further feuds that are more important, that's probably not the ideal scenario. I don't think there's a lot of drama here. I think it's pretty obvious that Mark Briscoe is going to get a title shot at the next pay-per-view. And honestly, I think what happens in the men's Owen final probably gives away the result here, especially because if Swerve wins, then Mark Briscoe might be winning the title at the next pay-per-view, right? So it feels pretty obvious what's going to happen here. Will Ospreay is going to win. Mark Briscoe is going to win. Then we know the finish to the next pay-per-view. I don't know, man. It's just it's not for me. I'm sure it'll be fun, but it was kind of the story with last year's Forbidden Door as well, where the main event was another steel cage match with lots of cool guys in it who, at least that was in the service of getting Ace another match in AEW, right?
Yeah, the last Ace match in Tanahashi carries so much more water than anything this match can do. But I hear you. It's not a encouraging pattern between the shows. RL, am I being picky here where I'm just like, not only are these teams not that interesting, they've done so much interaction on TV, including had a match. These teams had a match on television. I still cannot, for the life of me, figure out how that had a finish and what the thinking there was. Is there a pairing in here or something that for us to get pumped for on Sunday beyond thinking, well, this will probably be exciting?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of doing the Fletcher, Takeshita, Okada dynamic in there. So that involves 3 of the 12 guys. You got the Andrade, MJF, whatever that's going to be, that feels like it's a future world title shot that's been promised. And then, the other guys are on that team as well. And then whatever. I mean, the trios champions are in there. Wow. That's, but, and you have the MJF Darby, like, unfinished business thing. But what it really boils down to is I feel like the good guys are going to win because Andrade is going to be like, fuck this team. And then Briscoe gets a title shot at Beach Break, which is coming up, I think, between now and the Montreal pay-per-view, where Kenny's going to get a title shot. And then there's time between then and London to do the Andrade title shot. And so, like, it just sets up the whole summer all in 2-3 matches on this card, basically. In a way that I think we're all looking forward to those matches individually. And if this is how we get there, I've heard worse ideas, I guess.
I actually love this attitude, RL.
This could be a 4-way, and I'd be going like, oh, brother, here we go. And because there's a cage involved, Darby's going to do something crazy. More members of the Don Callis family are going to get involved. Like, there's a lot of moving parts here that, again, just like roll out the red carpet for the rest of the summer.
I will say we're in lockstep about what you laid out there. I would only add that the Andrade title shot date is that Grand Slam Mexico in August.
Right, yeah, of course. So that's perfect then. Yeah.
But that's exactly the lineup that I have in my mind as well. Matty Mac, is it 4 for 4? Are you thinking good guys win, bad guys lose, and sort of we set up that path that RL laid out there?
Yeah, I do think so. In addition to kind of the combos that RL laid out, there's also Darby and Kevin Knight.
That's right.
Yep.
That's going to be coming down the line, and those guys are going to do, I mean, Darby, of course, but I think this is where we see Kevin Knight also do something maybe not equally as crazy, but pretty close. So I think, like Arl said, this sets up a ton of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of pairings within specifically the Callis family team that are of interest, including Knight and including Andrade, including Kyle Fletcher, because he's not necessarily been super pleased with Kevin Knight coming to the family either. So
Definitely not.
definitely, if you could believe it, there's a little bit of Don Callis family infighting. I think the match itself will be fine. Like Arl said, the trios champs are in there, and you could basically just pull them out. Like there's nothing for them after this match, I don't think, other than conglomerating with Mark Briscoe on the way to hopefully his future title shot. And one thing I do really like about this is how Darby has pulled everyone together for Mark, even though he's not a part of that faction. He's been kind of the rah, Mark needs to get his. I'm hoping that's not some sort of red herring. And Darby does something. No, that won't happen. Let's forget about that.
Even putting
let's
it
just
in
watch
the
the
universe
match.
has me nervous.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I agree with all you guys. Talking about the pairings did help me. This match can earn its place on the card, not by Kevin Knight doing a UFO from the top of the cage. That won't cut it. But it's that cage that goes around the ring, right? You do the coast to coast from the top to the inside of the ring. Then I will say this match justified its existence. That's what I want to. He can do it.
Sure.
What can't that guy do?
Once-
Yeah. So that's maybe the main event. I wonder if the finals of the men's Owen Hart Cup final will be the main event. For the second time, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland have found one another in this spot, the finals of the Owen Cup. Now, let's talk about it a little bit here, RL. How was the Owen Cup this year?
Pretty good.
I feel better than some other years, and I don't know, I didn't research this. I'm talking about how I feel about it relative to some other years.
Yeah, well, so I only know this because I was there because it was in Boston. But the last Owen Cup featured that insane Ospreay Takeshita match,
Yeah, right.
and like nothing rose to that level. This I think could, but that match was just, again, I'm biased because I was there, but that was one of the, I think, probably the best match I've ever seen live. So,
Oh man, what high praise.
yeah.
Aaron, where's this for you in terms of interest? Is it being a repeat matchup hinder it, or is this still sort of one of the bigger matches on the card for you?
It's the one I'm most excited for, probably, or
Nice.
it's at least in that conversation. These guys are so good and good together that they can wrestle once a year, and it's fine with me. They're always going to find a way to reference past matches to work whatever the story is into the match. They're just both so talented, and they're really complementary to each other. I think I love watching these guys go. I think that Ospreay's sort of evolving style makes it even more interesting, right? Because Swerve has kind of like become almost more of like an acrobatic guy, and Ospreay is becoming more of like a grounded kind of grappler, which is pretty interesting. So they've got some new stuff to play around with. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. Again, I don't think a lot of drama here. I think that Ospreay not winning the title in London would be a huge swerve, and also a very self-defeating one, right? Like it would have been like Hangman losing the title after his road to redemption. Just like, what do you
Mox
do?
chokes him
Like,
out again at All in Texas.
yeah, which would have been funny at the time, but probably
man.
really bad for for the future of the business. So
Slaps
yeah.
on the bulldog choke in 90 seconds. Hangman just can't get out.
Yeah, so I there not being stakes here is not as much of a hindrance for this match, though, because you know it's going to be good, and you know that it's going to, whatever happens, there's a story in the future. So there are stakes in that sense, right? Like it's not just like, well, this is the end of that. They will come back to whatever happens in this match the next time they go again, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Matty Mac, I'm with Aaron where I think that you just have to have Ospreay win here. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. However, I do like what a different spot these guys find themselves in. Swerve, a full bore heel as much as he can be, bigger bodied, and Ospreay, of course, getting his Death Rider shit in. Can we expect, like, I know this is silly to say, but this is the space these guys occupy. Like, can we expect a match of the year contender here?
Yeah, Absolutely. This means a lot to Will, not only on his journey of getting healthy, getting to Wembley, but also to show that he's evolved both as an athlete and as a man or whatever. I feel like the last time these guys were head to head, it was a lot more of a respectful kind of angle towards it. I think they were calling each other brothers and everything, and I think that was referenced this time as well. But the respect part of it is gone out the door, and I think we're going to see more of that progress throughout that match. There's going to be, I'm hoping that there's going to be a Tiger Driver. I'm hoping there's a kick out of a Cop Killer, all sorts of stuff, and there's going to be references to previous matches. These guys are going to do each other's moves. I think it'll be really fun, and the payoff is going to be worth it. Having Ospreay headline Wembley.
Yeah, if only this had any question as to who was going to win, because I think you're totally right. All of those factors are going to play into how enjoyable this match is along the way. And I think they'll probably find some way to get Swerve into it. I kept thinking, is this where we finally see this Embassy 2.0, which he's teased twice now? But it's like you're going to tease them and then he still doesn't win. That seems kind of D2 thing of the faction, but we'll see.
Yeah, it feels like they have to also pay off the Shane Taylor Promotions Death Riders thing in all this, probably, right? Like it's just such a natural fit. That's the new Embassy, right?
Yeah, that it could be that easy.
So,
and I wouldn't hate it.
No.
Again, I think we're all here on Will Ospreay, all expecting a great match, and you can come back right here, twitch.tv/wrestlingbrain, the moment the show ends, and we can talk about if it was or wasn't. Stay up late if you listen to this as a Nasty Cassidy. Come on to the live post show. I promise you'll enjoy it.
Josh, can I ask you a question about this match, or everybody? But if I can interject, what would you put the odds at seeing Hangman in this match or in and around this match? I don't know, after, post match, something.
I like that thinking. I do think Hangman is Swerve's dance partner at All In. I don't know if you set that up on the other side of the Montreal pay-per-view or not, is my only question. But I think you're on the right track. What do you think, Aaron? Are we going to see Hangman on Sunday?
It would be interesting. I mean, the last time we saw Hangman and Swerve together, they were on okay terms. So I don't know how you get to Hangman interfering to cost Swerve without it being a heel move by Hangman. I don't know if anybody even cares about that, right? Like it's Swerve and Hangman. There doesn't really need to be an explanation for it, but
they're pissed off again.
Right. Yeah. Why not?
But I know what you mean. Like they would have to figure that out.
But Swerve has turned heel since then. So maybe that's the explanation. It's like, hey, you're still a dick. Like nothing about you changed. You weren't redeemed. And that makes me mad. I don't know. I would like it. I miss Hangman. And I do think that that's going to be the first feud back, most likely. But yeah, I don't know. I would go 50-50 on it, I think.
How about URL? We seeing the millennial hipster cowboy?
I think they might save it for Beach Break again, just because I think there's still some Death Riders stuff to kind of play out that you wrap around the match, and then I don't know how you get then Hangman involved on top of everything else. Although it's an easy enough thing where he's also pissed at Ospreay for teaming up with Moxley after all the Death Rider stuff.
Right, that would make a ton of sense. That might be the seed right there.
Yeah,
Matty Mac. I can't think. Bad TV and other people's minds. That Zack Sabre Jr.'s theme song that always gets me hype when I hear it. This is probably my most anticipated match of the night, not because the build has been any good, but because simply Kenny Omega is wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. It's one of those feuds where it almost would have been better to have them not interact for me, but that's the way it goes. Are you as geeked for this one as I am, Matthew?
Yeah, very, very excited for this one. My most look forward to for sure. Not that Kenny needs to be carried by Zach by any means, but Zach is the guy to do it if something goes awry or it's not going great. He can just take the reins and make chicken soup out of that for sure. I think to me, Zach's gonna win. I just it's tough. It's tough for me to see an IWGP recent champion going 0-3 career against an expiring Kenny Omega. And obviously there's going to be points towards Kenny winning. It makes a lot of sense with the pay-per-view in Montreal, etc. I just don't like it at all. So I'm going with Zach. And I think this is going to be Kenny's best match since the Gabe match.
Are you saying that because it's the next English guy he's wrestled?
Yes.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought that was the logic there. RL,
You know me.
Yeah, you're always you and I mind meld. RL, I keep having this vision of Zack Sabre Jr. hitting the best Zap driver he ever has, just jumping so high, and Kenny goes with him. But then last night, after their little weakest shove ever, got been shoved harder than that by a guy on the SkyTrain multiple times. I'm starting to wonder if we got to have the Kenny Omega discussion. Am I going way too far ahead based off of not much here? He ran to the ring not good, and he exited the ring not good, and he had a not good engagement with Zack Sabre Jr. in between, physically, I mean.
It's been a little rough for Kenny the last I don't know, few months for sure, maybe more than that. Like, you know, because All In Texas, I'm like, well, look, what's the floor on a Kenny Okada match? Like, holy
We
shit!
found out,
and then it was like pretty good, you know, like it just wasn't unbelievable, and I wonder, like, if we get a Kenny Omega match or Kenny Omega in a Zack Sabre Jr. match. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
is it if it's letting Zach kind of dictate how the match goes, then yeah, I think this can really rise to a really high level. I'm pretty out on Kenny Omega is like the best bout machine anymore. You know what I mean? I just don't think, you know, he hasn't shown it to me in a while. The Gabe match, I guess.
He's kind of speed running the last 5 years of Naito's career right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
And it's a shame to see.
That hit me right there. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Now I got to go back to hosting the show. I got to figure out how to.
I don't like it any more than you do. I'm sorry.
RL, what do you think though of what Matty Mac says? Picking Zack Sabre Jr. Because chat, I'll ask you here too. Which way do you see the wind blowing here? Are you all? I think Kenny is the chalk pick, but I like this one, Matty Mac planting the seed. I see where you're coming from. How does that hit your ears, RL?
I just don't see it because Kenny has said, like, this is part of my road back to the world title and blah, blah, blah. And with the Montreal pay-per-view, like, MJF has made it clear in the past, like, you want to face me, you win matches. Yeah. That's how you do it. So if he loses, it just kind of doesn't make sense for him to headline a pay-per-view, regardless of where it is. So
I think that's the tough part, Aaron, is that if Kenny was around more, I could see how you do it. He loses to Zack Sabre Jr. and then the road to rebellion is him. I will get you, Max, in my home country of Canada. I'm going to earn my wins, and he beats 3 guys. You're just not going to have that with him. Like, this is probably the last time he's going to wrestle until that pay-per-view, or at least in singles action. Who are you picking here to win, and what are your expectations for the match?
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be very good. Kenny can still have a great match. He had a great match with MJF in Vancouver. I thought it was not Kenny Omega, right? And
a lot of smoke and mirrors, but it was really good.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, but I think that he can have a great match with somebody like Zack Sabre Jr. in that style, I think. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be really good. I'm not convinced that Kenny's getting close to the world title again anytime soon. I'm not convinced that he's going to be headlining in Montreal. Just because I think of what we've been talking about, right? Like I think he kind of needs to figure some stuff out. And if he can't figure some stuff out and get back to the level he was at, then maybe you can say, okay, well, we're still going to give him the title at some point, but let's see if we can get him back to putting on 8-star matches or whatever. But yeah, this will be a great one. I could see Zack Sabre Jr. winning for sure. I think that if you're gonna throw New Japan a bone, having
Yeah.
one of their top guys beat Kenny Omega in AEW is a pretty great way to do it. But I'm not even going to pretend to understand the politics of any of this stuff, right? And
I'll
I
explain
think,
them to you. I read the New Japan subreddit, so I'm kind of
okay.
up on
Phew. I'm going to open that up in my other monitor over here and just read all the.
it. Yeah. Why even do
these
this
matches.
show? Just everyone
Yeah.
just go read the New Japan subreddit, and you'll know what's up.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the chalk pick is probably Kenny, right? Because it's an AEW show and he's one of your big guys. But I think it would be fun to see Zack Sabre Jr. win. There was a great conversation about this in the Discord last night that I read up on later, but it's great. He feels more special as a guy who's around once a year. It feels like a much bigger event. But if you could be around 3 or 4 times a year, you know what I mean? Like I'm much more of an AEW guy than a New Japan guy just because of when I can watch things more than anything. But I don't really want Zack Sabre Jr. in AEW because I think it is important that some guys stay in New Japan, and he is the most guy to stay in New Japan that there is. But I would like to see more often. And I think if he wins here, that's a way to get him on the show a little more often, hopefully, and involved in some more stuff. So, and I just think it's a better outcome. I think it's better booking in a vacuum to have him win this match because Kenny Omega is not Kenny Omega of old, and I think that's an interesting story to tell.
I love these picks from you and Manny Mac. It got me more interested in the match, which is sort of why we're here to some degree. I will say that if I were Tony Khan, and again, I don't live in the real world. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying I would do this if I was him. To exactly what you're saying, Aaron, I would say, all right, sorry for harvesting you guys, okay? I kind of see it nuked you. Your new main eventers don't have the old main eventers to go over. You can keep Takeshita for 3 years. Do whatever you want. That's what I'd do. Because they're dying for Takeshita. That's who they're looking for. He's right there. Then you keep teasing us. Oh, give me the TV champ. And I mean, he's just such a ready to go rock star for them, and I prefer him there. So along with Zack Sabre Jr., Takeshita, even Gabe Kidd, I feel like in that environment thrives. So there's definitely people who belong in certain feds.
Yep.
Let's move down the card another step, and we're gonna have Maddie Mac lead the way here as Tekla, who I enjoy a great deal, takes on Starlight Kid, who is from Stardom. Maddie Mac, what can you tell us? I'm saying me and anyone who's heard this. I can't speak for RL and Aaron, maybe more familiar than me. I am reasonably sure I've never seen a Starlight Kid match. And if I have, it was probably like ages ago and I don't remember it. What do I need to know about Starlight Kid?
She's fast. She is kind of a little bit sassy. And she's
Kinda like
a really great worker. Yeah, under a mask though. She emotes really well for under a mask.
Harder to do.
Shows great emotion. She hits hard. She does some really cool moves. But I'm interested in the pacing of this one and how they're going to try to run it, because Tekla's, she's shown that she can be very quick and nimble, and obviously she does her spider stuff. But she's become such an interesting grounded wrestler since AEW, especially as the champion. So it'll be an interesting clash of styles here for sure. And my pick here, Josh, is Starlight Kid.
Talk to me.
I think they owe them one. It won't be long now before they're poaching Bozilla as well. And I just think it leads to a more interesting path forward. You have a lot more contenders that can wrestle for that belt in Stardom. You can have Tekla go to Stardom to get the belt back. You can have an AEW person go to Stardom to get the belt back and then come back as this savior of the championship, which sets up a Mercedes match if that's the outcome of the Owen. And yeah, I just don't think that the path to All In with Tekla as a retaining champion is all that interesting. We haven't had... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, we haven't had a contender of the month this month, and I think it's been better for it. We've had an interesting build with Stardom, despite no one really being in the States for it or in AEW for it. We had Tekla go over to Japan, attack their president. Starlight Kid attacked her. She got thrown out of the building, fired from Japan again. And I just think that without the Challenger of the Month thing, it's been refreshing. I don't think the Challenger of the Month next month will be very interesting. The month after that will be very interesting. And like I said, up until All In, I just have way more interest in someone chasing that belt storyline wise than trying to set someone up just to lose at a pay-per-view in Montreal.
Aaron, I like Maddie Mac's idea so much because it would just validate Forbidden Door so much.
Yeah.
And the only issue I can see with it is I don't think they'd let somebody win the AEW Women's World title back on a Stardom show. So then you have to bring Starlight Kid back for Montreal. It gets like a little confused in the booking for me. But what would that do if you get, let's say Tekla and her put on a great match, something you're like, wow, I got to check out more of this Starlight Kid. And at the end, you sort of get the surprise finish of Starlight Kid over Tekla. Is this something they should be doing? Is there a chance they do it? Where are you on this?
I think I wouldn't be opposed to them doing it. I don't think it's they shouldn't do it, right? I don't think it's going to hurt anything if they do it. The women's division right now is the title scene, at least, is bad, and I don't think that's entirely Tekla's fault at all. I don't think she's had a lot to work with. But you would also hope that your champ can elevate people, and that hasn't really happened as much as I think I would have hoped for. So
yeah,
I can see, and I can also see with Mercedes back now, maybe getting the title off of the show for a little bit, right? With the focus still being there and Mercedes having the title shot, almost certainly. So I think that there's a logic to it, but I do think the logistics of it are tricky. And then who do you have? Is Mercedes going to be a heel when she wins the title? If she does end up winning the title again? I kind of think she is. I kind of think she's going to stay heel. I don't think she's going to have this big redemption arc. She's just a much better heel than she is babyface. She always has been. So, and I think I kind of like
her wrestling is so babyface though. Like her
yeah,
actual wrestling is. And I agree with you, though. Her mic work is very limited, and as a heel is a lot more natural. But if she could just find an iota way to connect, like everything about her wrestling is so, yeah, I don't know.
It's true. She weighs like 80 pounds and spends the entire match dying. And the fact that she's become an all-time great, with the fact that her wrestling is so babyface and doing most of her best work as a heel is really interesting.
That's true.
I think she would be like one of one if she was a good babyface outside of the ring. Like maybe one of like the greatest of all time. We'll never know, most likely. But yeah, I do think it's on the table to have Starlight Kid win this. I'm a little skeptical that they would actually do it, if for no other reason than the logistics of it and the fact that it's the world title, right? I think if it were the TBS or what have you, it would be much more on the table. But I think I would like it. I love Tekla, and I love her in-ring. I love her presentation, her character. But I think at a certain point, her being the champion and the reign being sort of meh is kind of damaging to her in a way. And it might not be the worst thing in the world to just have her be a chaos agent without the belt for a little bit, because she was great doing that as well. So
RL, is Planet Mercedes Moné just impossible to avoid in this discussion? Like, are they just trying to get to Tekla versus Mercedes for that title and anything else is not on the table?
It certainly is the biggest match they could do. Like on the women's side, absent Toni Storm, right? But the last couple of weeks I've been really talked into Maya World must win. Like it's just such a good idea. And she's earned, like, first of all, I just want to get out of the way. I think there's like a 0% chance Starlight Kid wins this match. Like I just don't see them letting the belt go to Stardom. But like, I think that the interesting thing with Mercedes is that the Owen is the last belt from her belt collector Ultimo Monet thing that she hasn't lost.
Right.
And so what I really think is probably going to happen is they might find a way to connive so that it ends up being a triple threat at Wembley with 2 heels and Maya World.
That's kind of interesting.
Because it really is not hard to tell the story of Mercedes Moné uses her clout as the biggest star in women's wrestling today, probably, to be like, yeah, but I'm going to be in the world title match anyway. And
you can get there easily.
Yeah, and so you give Maya World the win because, this is a woman who, they were like, some NXT team was like, that doesn't work for me, brother. And they were like, I'll fucking show up and lose to these people. I don't care. Whatever. And that got them a job. And then her brother is killed in like a car accident or something. And they're like, do not worry about it. And she's like, no, I'm showing up to wrestle. Like, don't you want to reward that if you're AEW? Don't you want to say to other people, oh, you want a world title shot? All you got to do is like show up and be willing to do business. They already put her over Athena, who can't lose, hasn't lost in fucking forever. And so it's such an easy, awesome story to tell. Maya World beats Mercedes Moné. Flash pin, whatever you want to say happens. She can win that match. And then, you can get to still Mercedes is in the world title match at Wembley. It's not hard. This is all made up stuff. They can just decide,
That is the best part about it.
Yeah. And like, nobody's going to be like, this is fucking bullshit. That Mercedes Moné is weaseling her way. Everybody will be like, oh, great. The person we wanted in that match anyway.
Let's transition to talking about Mercedes Moné versus Maya World, because I'm on Tekla as well. But I do think that has a chance to be like something I'm buzzing about at the end of the night.
Can I interject here just for please, one split second?
When you do it, it's not interjecting. It's just the most interesting guy in the world speaking.
Well, thank you. Just 2 things that I think maybe color this match a little bit. Just final things to think about as we go into Sunday. I looked it up, and Tekla has wrestled a single 14-minute 4-way singles match. That's her only singles action since April 15th. So 75 days as of the day of the pay-per-view. She will have 14 minutes where she did none of the work in a singles match. That's her whole resume, which was the Double or Nothing match. So
yeah, she's got to be working through something. Has to be.
Hard to say, but yeah, that's the last time that she had a real singles match was against Alex Windsor on the Collision following the Dynasty match against Jamie Hayter. So those were back to back. Other than that, just a couple of tag and multi-man kind of matches, and nothing at all since May 24th. So it'll be over a month since she's been in the ring in any form.
Very interesting. Now, granted, we could chalk that up to the Forbidden Door or Can't Feud with People Who Aren't Here thing for that last month, but it's something worth. But no rumors, no buzz about anything going on with Tekla. But it'll be interesting to watch sort of as we move forward, because she feels hot right now. I don't know why that would be the case otherwise, right?
Yeah, and to Aaron's point, like it seems like she's almost benefited from it, and Maddie's as well, like to not really have to fight anybody on the undercard or whatever. And the last thing that I do want to give you to think about in terms of who's going to win this, you might not know a lot about Starlight Kid, but if you just look at the picture of her, she's wearing Shinji Kajitoro's mask. So,
Maddie, does she do a Tiger Bomb 2K20?
We'll have to find out on Sunday.
Over. That's as good as I was. I need to remind people that 2 nights of WBCW next week. If you haven't checked out our Fantasy Federation, I highly recommend you do. You can come check out Monday, where we're going to have qualifiers for Tuesday. We're very seldom live on Tuesday. June 30th is one of those. WBCW Faction All-Stars Warfare. Come see the whole roster in 4v4 elimination action It's going to be a very, very fun night. And you got to get your dose of Wrestling Brain there next week because AEW Dudes is off. It's Canada Day here in Canada. Zoobs and I are going to go barbecue and whatnot. But TNA review on Patreon on Thursday and Monday, Tuesday Meltdown. So lots going on the channel all the same. Mercedes Moné versus Maya World. I liked RL's setup for it there. Tons of intrigue there. I, of course, said on Double Dudes the second it was announced that she was a replacement for the tournament, Maya World must win. This happens in real combat sport fight tournaments all the time. They have 6 names, one of them drops out to injury. Here comes the alternate, one upset, and they're off to the races. Maybe to use a name people know, this is Daniel Cormier's story in fighting. He was an absolute nobody in fighting and takes over in the Strikeforce heavyweight tournament, I think in 2013, and makes a career out of it. Mercedes needs making. You're like RL said, she already beat Athena. I really just think you have to go with it. And I hadn't even thought about the triple threat. I was just like, you can do Willow Mercedes 3 at All In. That can be the Mercedes play. And no belt attached as long as Willow's going to be healed up. That can be the solution. I think in some ways it's hard to get away from. The Mercedes return. The last belt is the Owen, and you kind of would want that maybe on the line against Tekla, belt versus belt in like the loosest way imaginable. But just speaking from the heart, you got to do it, man. That women's division needs someone new and someone good. And I haven't seen a ton of Maya World. I've seen 8 matches, 9 matches, something like that. But I'm willing to find out. It seems better than some people on the show. Good matches with Athena. So go for it. It's fun to watch stuff like this happen. It's like RL said, this is one of the forms where you just can do that. It's not, you try to get excited about prospects sometimes and they grab the stick too tight. Do you know that, RL, from hockey?
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. And it's just a turn. Anyway, I won't explain it for people. Maddie Mack, Maya World versus Mercedes Moné. Your expectations, what should they do? What will they do?
My expectations are high. We just saw Maya World against her trainer or training partner or whomever in Athena. Maya World also beating Athena lends a little bit of credence to my championship in Stardom because Athena just beat Suri, who is the IWGP Women's Champion in Stardom right now. Anyways, I think Maya World's going to win. Let's go all the way with this.
Let's go.
Why give her the first 2 if you're not going to give her the third? I was really impressed with Maya when we saw her in Vancouver on the pre-show against her and Hyan were against, of course, the tag champs over
Divine
there.
Dominion. Yeah.
Thank you. Great name. And she was great. And it's not like the Owen has some sort of crazy lineage to uphold.
Yeah, that's also true.
Britt Baker, Willow, and Tony Storm's former partner, Blake Monroe.
Right.
And
Mariah May. Yeah.
Mariah May, which I was there for, and it was great. That was the night of the turn also, which was super fun. And Mercedes Moné. So, this is a tournament that I think these things should happen in. I think Ricky Starks has one on the men's side. Adam Cole has one. This is a tournament where this type of thing should be happening. And I'm hoping it does. Do I think it's going to?
That's what we need to know, Maddie Mack.
Yes. Let's do
it. Well, Aaron, I don't want to stack pressure on you, my friend. However, you will absolutely nuke the vibe if you pick Mercedes here. I'm just warning you, the vibe will be annihilated. But we might not even continue the show. Where are you on this, man?
I think if it wasn't for the point about the Owen belt being the last belt that Mercedes had, and she hasn't made such a point about immediately going and grabbing that belt and keeping it, I would pick Mercedes. But I like the point that she needs to lose that last thing before she can fully lose her mind and go babyface and win the title. So I'm going to pick Maya World as well.
4-4-4. 4-4-4.
Can I throw another it's going to be Maya World consideration into this?
You have to.
Dr. Martha Hart has some say over how this works. And you know she's got the biggest heart in the world, and she probably heard the story and was like, that's my person. I really want to be attached to that. I want to make that happen. You know what I mean?
I don't even want to say this in a non-jokey way, but a famous brother passing away being tied to this tournament is interesting too, named after Owen Hart. I hadn't even considered that until you just said that, Bobby. Get Brett out there. Very excited for this. I really hope they do it. I have no doubt. I know Athena is her coach, but I still feel like Mercedes, even without that personal connection, can go out there and just give Maya World the match of her career. Absolutely. And even if that's the version of the rub here that we get, I'll be a little grumpy, but fine. But I really hope that they give Maya World this at least 3-match run where they were like, okay, let's see what you can do. And you're not off TV after losing this. You're whoever you are on the show, you're someone now, because I really think that they could use it. And she feels like an actual emotional attachment to the division right now, which is always great. Before we talk about the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship match, I do want to let people know that we have one of our very rare merch drops on right now, WrestlingBrain-shop.fourthwall.com. We've got 2 hats, well, 1 hat in 2 colors, and then a second hat. We got like 2.5 hats on there, and a tote bag, and a mug. It's all very good. You can just go check it out if you don't want to buy it. You can go, well, you should buy it too, but if you want to just go see what it looks like and you're listening to this, I can't help you with that. I'm not going to sit here and describe what these things are, but you'll love them. Bobby, your lovely wife, Cindy Soom, designed the tote bag. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, she had an idea for it for like a year, and she kept saying, whenever they do another drop, I'm going to do the design. And you guys graciously used it, so it's very cool.
I mean, you say graciously. I told her we'll take any design you have. I'm a big fan of all of her ceramics and whatnot. A talented family over there, the Hamburgs. So check that out. And as well, patrons, free and paid alike. If you were listening to this, it means that in an hour, the pick'em sheet for this very show will be live. You have a chance once again to win a Wrestling Brain holographic sticker. They're back in stock. These ones are yellow, not pink. Some of the people just got them on the anniversary show for being there, but you can still win one. All you got to do is pick the pay-per-view perfectly. This is a smaller pay-per-view with less matches. That means the chances are good. Patreon.com/J0SHC. You'll see the Forbidden Door pick'em sheet. And as well, Wrestling Brain Live Vancouver is free on there to watch for a month for free patrons. So check that out. Matty Mac, I'm going to go back to you. Would you describe Shota Umino as misunderstood or hard to understand?
He's hard to understand in a sense that I don't understand what he's doing.
I agree.
Like he's been so close so many times.
He's great in moments.
Yes, he is. He's great in moments. But there's sadly the connective tissue. Those moments between the moments are perplexing. Don't make a ton of sense to me. Shooter, figure it out.
The easy best version of him to me is like the bruiser brawler he was doing with the buzzed head and very wide. Can Pac bring that side out of him? And does sort of a Death Rider's touch exactly what Shota Umino needs?
Yes. I'm hoping that Pac lays it in and Shooter responds. The shaved head version of Shooter, very dour and not into it, was my favorite version of him. And I thought that was going to be the start. I thought that was going to be him joining the Death Riders. Didn't happen. This is interesting, I think, because Shooter's going to win.
Yeah.
This is a rematch of a 2022 match from Rev Pro where Pac defended his international championship.
At the time, the All-Atlantic title. Very cool.
Yes, of course. It was before it was leveled up by the Marvel movie.
Shazam.
Shazam
Legend of the
Fury of the Gods. Please.
That's it.
Let's get this right.
And I
RL2 was leveled up that night.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Pac's going to torture him. It's going to look great. Pac is going to pull him into that world where all that Shooter has is his brawn and his power. Not that Pac is lacking in any of those, but Shooter's bigger guy is going to have to rely on some stuff for sure. I'm interested in what happens post match and if there's anything Death Riders related.
Yeah.
In part because Gabe is Death Riders affiliated and Gabe hates Shooter. Moxley obviously has a soft spot for Shooter as his young boy and coming up. So yeah, super interested. I think this is going to be a good match. I don't think it'll be the best match of the night. I don't think it's a dark horse to be the best match of the night. I'm just hoping that is going to over deliver.
Yeah, if anybody didn't see Dominion, Gabe Kidd did attack Shooter Umino post match to sort of set up a match for the global title or in the G1 or whatever, but definitely planting seeds and sort of speaking for everybody about frustrations with Shooter, I think. Aaron, when you look at this poster, what do you think?
I think Pac looks cool.
I agree.
I think that Shooter does not look that cool.
In a battle of cool, you're on Pac.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all Pac. I don't know, man. It's really unsettling, honestly. Now that I'm looking really closely at it, I don't like it. It looks like somebody yassified Okada. It's making me a little uncomfortable, frankly. So I'm gonna stop looking at it. But I think the match should be good. It doesn't need to be great. I don't think where it'll be on the card. It's been years since I saw a Pac match that I didn't like.
Right. Yeah.
And I think these guys are probably quite complimentary. I think if Pac could manage to actually piss him off, that would be great. We might get something that honks pretty well. So, these are actually the kind of matches. It's funny enough because I don't sound super enthusiastic about it. I know that, but these are the kind of matches that are cool on a show like this.
Right.
Where it's just like two guys who are roughly, equivalent. I would say I don't know as much about New Japan as y'all do, so correct me if I'm wrong there, but they seem, relatively similar in terms of their placement on the card. Having a match, and there doesn't really need to be a build to it, as far as I'm concerned. I think you said earlier, like, it would have been better if Zack Sabre Jr. and Kenny hadn't interacted, and I 100% agree with that. There doesn't need, the whole point of this is that these people don't interact, so just have a match. I get why they can't do that for everything. Obviously, you're trying to sell tickets, but I think for a match like this, just these guys just showing up and fighting is perfect, and I think it should be fun. And I wish that the card had 2 or 3 more of these.
Yeah. Just that built-in get your win back thing is always interesting to me, and I like when pro wrestling pays attention to that. RL, I'm sort of with Matty Mac when I'm most interested if this is the road to Shooter versus John Moxley at some point, or if this is just the win back from that All-Atlantic era. Do you have a read on that one way or the other? And where's your anticipation for this one?
I am very out on Shota Umino. I wish I weren't. There was a time when I was like, oh, this guy could be really interesting, and he has repeatedly insisted in the years since then, I'm not interesting. Don't put any stock in me, because he'll deliver an occasional good to even great match. And you're like, where's this guy all the time? And he just doesn't deliver it consistently at all. And that's true. Even against the same opponents, he can have a great match with Yota Tsuji and then have a shitty match with Yota Tsuji. And you're like, I don't understand what's happening here. And so
he doesn't know what he wants to be more than any wrestler I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so funny, right? Because it's like I remember there was a Forbidden Door match where he tagged with Mox, right?
Oh yeah. Or at least did the walkout with the Death Riders. I don't remember.
Yeah, and
it was Anarchy in the Arena.
Thank you, Bobby.
Maybe that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he kept high-fiving people, and Mox was like, fucking put your hand down. What are you doing?
Yeah, they all come out in the black pants and jean vests, and he's wearing sparkly stars and stripes stuff, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Has there ever been a wrestler nicknamed Shooter who is less of a fucking shooter than Shota Umino? It's insane that that's the direction he's gone in. Like, be the Japanese John Moxley. They wanted you to do it. You don't think Mox would sign off on that? And so, I hadn't really considered it until Maddie said it, but like, maybe this is the, like, they give him the Will Ospreay treatment. Like, are you gonna be like a good wrestler who lives up to his full potential? Or are you gonna do this clown shit that you've been doing for fucking years?
And given this feud with Gabe, that's twice as interesting. Gabe, who's
That's right.
claiming being a Death Rider right now as well.
Yeah, and so like that really worked for me. I'm not gonna bet that Shota Umino is gonna get there in this match or any match, but it's on the table, and that's at least interesting. And again, like Aaron said, this is a Pac match. Floor on this quite high, so like I have no problems with it with this match or anything. But like, am I looking forward to it? Yeah, as much as I'm looking forward to any random Pac match on a Dynamite? Yeah, sure.
And when you talk about high floor, it's absolutely sickening that they haven't done a Death Riders go for a run tag team of Pac and Claudio yet.
Absolutely.
Talk about ridiculous. Two guys who are invincible to the bad match, have never for their entire careers even encountered it. Pac had a good match with Freaky Seth on Raw with a fucked finish. Think about that. That's impossible. That's not, you can't do it.
I'll never find out.
Yeah, I mean, this was, I don't know, 2016. It's right when his first match called up from NXT. But it's a good match, and that's not easy to do against the Freakster on Raw. Let's head one down the card. Oh, sorry, Bobby, please.
As I'm wont to do, I'm going to add just the last wrinkle to think about here.
I love it.
If you're looking for what I think everyone is calling for to one degree or another of Shota getting shootered by the Death Riders, I just want to call out that the only other Death Riders match on this card is a Continental title match, so they can't get involved in that. So this is the one place where they can get involved. So
that's great thinking.
Yeah, just something to think about.
I love it. I think that does make the chances go up for sure. No such rule set around the Global Heavyweight Championship. You can do whatever the damn hell you want. That's what Bushiroad said.
And they're out, so.
Yeah, and well, so maybe they're going to introduce some rules. So get in while the getting's good, I guess we're saying. I have a theory based on nothing here, Aaron, that John Moxley was supposed to be fighting somebody who couldn't get a visa cleared. We'll never know. I don't even have a name for who I think it is. But he was babyface one week and then wrestling Brodito in tag action the next week. It makes no sense. Him and Bandito makes no sense as a feud out of nowhere. I'm very excited to see it. I actually think it's sort of a stylistic. I like when wrestling's hard for you to imagine. Like some guys go together and the match is kind of exactly what you imagine. And that's not necessarily bad. But I have a hard time imagining what John Moxley versus Bandito is. The match is kind of hard for me to imagine. And it's interesting on those terms. Do you think there's anything to this? Or were they just looking around for a title defense for John Moxley? Like, Bandito doesn't have anything.
I think that makes sense because the where they're at alignment wise right now is very weird to me. When they're involved with Will Ospreay, they are as babyface can be. Danny Garcia is doing the dance again. They're pumping each other in like a very affectionate way backstage. They're laughing and goofing around. Will's taking pratfalls. And then they're wrestling like two of the most beloved guys on the show and Mystico, one of the most beloved guys in the world, and they're healing it up. It's very weird. I kind of enjoyed it when Mox had turned face, but nobody else had. I thought that was an interesting dynamic.
Agreed.
I don't really know what's going on now, and it does sort of depress my interest in this one a little bit. But I think it'll be great. I mean, I think that these guys are almost certainly going to have a corker. They seem to complement each other really well. I think that Mox is going to get annoyed at some shit Bandito is doing in a really entertaining way. So yeah, it'll be good. It's just a weird one, and it's so weird that it does feel like there's something happened. Somebody got hurt or a visa issue, like you said. Unfortunately, that's probably the most plausible explanation at this particular moment in history. So as a fill-in, I'm not complaining, but it has made for some weird moments on the show, I feel like.
RL, can Bandito win the Continental title here?
I was just thinking about that. I think he can, but he won't. Like, I think, whatever. There's like let's say it's an 80-20 chance.
He's not drawn dead.
No, yeah, and also like I don't know, has the Continental title ever been won outside of the C2?
Nope.
No, I didn't think so. So like it would be pretty interesting. Like you got to pull the trigger on that at some point. And it's not like you need a belt on Mox for him to have a compelling match at Wembley or wherever else. But also, like, does Bandito need to be carrying around 2 belts? I kind of don't think so.
I
right?
always forget
So,
he's the Ring of Honor World Title. It happens to champion. It happens to me.
It's a good thing it's in the graphic because I would have forgotten to.
Yeah, that's.
I'm looking at the graphic right now and I'm saying, oh right, yeah.
Yeah. As I'm actively hosting the show, looking at the graphic, I still cannot recall the information. It's that brain blocked for me.
But what Aaron said, I think is right. Like in terms of the dynamic of this match, where it's a stylistic clash, and it's easy to see Mox gets one of those like lucha arm drags out, and he slides out of the ring, and he's doing the thing where he's banging on the apron. He's like, "Wow, this fucking bullshit," all
jumping around.
It's so easy to
House of
picture
Pain.
Mox doing that and me having a great time watching it, right? Like I really love these two guys together, apart, whatever it is. Like Mox is a guy where you can just not have he can just not have chemistry with people randomly and weirdly.
Yeah.
But I feel like Bandito can, we've seen him hit hard. We've seen him kind of go through a lot in the ring and that kind of thing. So like I'm really looking forward to this match. I think this has I think I wouldn't pick it, but like I think this has a real good potential to be a draw, and then maybe Mox loves having a draw in the C2.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the last 2 pay-per-view matches have been no time limit, and this one isn't. So that could be something they're trying to message as well. That's interesting, actually. Not a bad pick there. Matty Mac. Is the Bandit going to steal a title, or is this a setup for John Moxley versus Brody King?
Oh, I like that last one there, the latter.
They've kept them apart somehow, and they teased them face to face on Dynamite. Well, not tease them. They had the match, but they had like that face to face to open, and they were clearly trying to like get the crowd charged up around the idea of that singles match.
Yeah, I'm really frustrated with. I think everyone is like. Bandito's a world champion, and his belt historically is held in higher regard than this belt that 3 guys have held. So I don't know. For me, it's like I think it is a setup to get to Mox Brody, and I think that's a more compelling match as far as within AEW goes. But Bandito loses to a lot of AEW guys and is the Ring of Honor champion, and no one seems to want his belt. Which I would almost like to just have, when Eddie Kingston had the Triple Crown, that was the best. And I'd like to see them. I don't know. I don't think they can get back to that without, at least the next tournament and Bandito being in it or whoever's the champ at the time. But it was just really refreshing. And, another match between an AEW belt and the Ring of Honor World Champion just isn't that refreshing to me. I think the match will be good. I'm a little down on it for those reasons, but looking forward to Brody King and Mox. That's sick.
I think so too. I think he beats Bandito here, though. RL planting that seed of a draw with the no time limit thing could be your way around it too. But then the booking's weird if he can't beat Bandito and he can beat Brody or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, I hope that this is something I'm more into than I feel right now. Again, my biggest interest in it is that I can't imagine what they look like together. So that's not the worst draw, I suppose. All right, chat. Put your hand up if you like tag team wrestling. Yeah. All right, everybody, put your hands down. Good, because the rest of the card that we have to cover are 3 tag team matches on Forbidden Door. I'd say a high quota of it relative to your average AEW pay-per-view. Let's talk about this one first. It's Shingo Takagi and Teton, representing the Unbound Company, taking on Mystico and Mascara Dorada, taking on the Young Bucks. RL, jump around. Where are we on this one?
Sure. Yeah, they can do this match. They're allowed to. No one's going to stop them.
All three companies in one match.
Yeah. It's the most Forbidden Door match on the card, probably by a wide margin, honestly. Well, depending on how you want to bend the rules, I guess getting DDT in there with Takeshita, you get even more companies involved.
You get a lot of bang for your buck with Takeshita in this situation.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, Mystico, Mascara, Dorada, Titan, they're all good. Shingo Takagi, well, hey, he's on the older side at this point, and I've seen a Young Bucks tag match in the last like 3 years. They're all pretty much the same. So like again, totally like perfectly good high floor. There's going to be a lot to get excited about. A lot of guys doing flips and stuff like that. But like, who cares ultimately?
Aaron, I'm going to ask you to, and I hate when people do this to me, but remember something, okay? So you got to go back into the memory bank. Do you remember about 90 seconds ago when I said I have a hard time imagining what Bandito versus Mox looks like?
Somehow I do. Yeah.
You rule. This match I would describe as the exact polar opposite of that, where I feel like I just know what this match looks like. I know every beat of this three-way tag jump stravaganza with Shingo as the big cutoff strong guy. And that kind of hurts my interest in it, if I'm being honest. I feel like we probably could have found like just Mystico versus Shingo would like kind of make my brain explode in a interesting sort of way. I like principally having three countries. I suppose that's true also, but three companies represented. But I don't have a lot of juice for this one. Do you have more than me?
Not really. I think that this one's the card placement is going to be really important, right? If it's early and it's not, like, especially if it's second and the first match is the other tag team match, I'm going to love it because I will have had to watch the other tag team match. So,
right.
So I'll have a good time with it. It'll be technically really good, I'm sure. I do like the bit of having a guy named Titan who is like a little guy. I think that's really funny. So, I always like seeing Mystico. So yeah, it'll be fine. I could not care less. My bathroom is right next to the TV, so I don't need to take bathroom breaks. But if I did, this would probably be the one. I mean, it's not right next to it. I don't have like a toilet in the den, but
you just turn around.
It's very close. So, I mean, yeah. So
I've been in your house. I was trying to think of the layout. I was like,
yeah, I mean, you were right there. The TV is right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matty Mac, who's winning this match? Should we care either way?
Well, the Young Bucks are winning the match. I think I'm quite certain of that. Yeah, I kind of echo RL here. Just, I think I wrote down, when I wrote this match out, I wrote down three-way tag, and I wrote, sure, should be fun, Bucks win. And the way you laid it out, Shingo is the big heavy. It's going to take two guys for every one of Shingo to get him down. Yeah, and I agree with Aaron. Card placement will be really important. I was thinking this might open.
Yeah, I'd open with this.
Yep. Get the crowd jumping before the crowd sits after.
Sit around. Sit
is the most
now sit
pinned
down.
Guy I've ever seen in my life. Right? Like, is there any like match with 6+ guys where you're just looking at the 6 guys on the poster and you're like, oh, that guy's eating the fucking pin. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not even close. They're not putting him over. They're not pinning Mascara Dorada. They're certainly not pinning Mystico.
Sorry, Teton.
They're not pinning the big guy.
Although we are thinking New Japan outside of Matty Mac to just lose everything. So maybe they throw the bones. Oh no, we got Shooter. Never mind. Shooter's gonna win.
Yep.
Shooter.
And I do like any little sniff I can get of former LIJ. So Titan and Shingo is nice to see together.
Yeah, Shingo's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Like he's just not what he used to be. Sometimes people are still like, I see people calling, it's like, oh man, give Shingo like a giant singles on Forbidden Door. That would save it. It's like, do you guys remember him and Brian? Like, do you remember how anticipatory we were for that? Do you remember what the match turned out as? Like he's not Shingo anymore. He's not there. And we're like 2 years after that now.
That was a weird stylistic one that I was a little surprised didn't work better than it did.
Me too. I was drooling too. I was in the salivating club. But that was the moment where I was like, when was the last time I loved Shingo? And you start doing the math, you're like, I wasn't allowed outside of my apartment last time I loved Shingo. It's crazy.
That was also the Short Island Forbidden Door, which was like a horrible crowd. Another, maybe one of my worst I was theirs is
Oh,
that
you were there,
show.
RL.
Yeah, I took the train down like an idiot, but I got to see Shingo wrestle, so you know.
Maddie Mack and I were part of a bad crowd in Toronto. It sucks.
Oh, nasty.
Brutal, man.
You're like, you can like feel it. You like feel the vibe is not right. You're like, what do I need to change it?
I wanted to go. Get me out of there.
Damn.
Crushing.
Damn.
This match, I just want to say, if I've ever seen a match more likely for this, I couldn't name it, but it has the feeling of Tony Khan knows that there's really no juice to it, and so day of, he's just going to tweet like, "Oh, this is actually a number one contenders match now."
Okay.
I have a feeling because the Bucks said on Dynamite, like, if we win this, that's going to get us in a good place to be World Tag Team Champions again or something. And I'm like, they're going to make this a number one contender match.
I like that call. And I think we're all predicting the TLC at All In. So getting them back into that.
Hell, add the dogs to it. Right? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Day of.
Hell. Well, unfortunately, they'll be here, RL. It's Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
Oh, I didn't see that this got officially added. Okay, never mind then.
It is there for the AEW Tag Team titles. It is Cope and it is Cage, and they are taking on the Dogs. Now, RL, I've been a big fan of the Dogs, the War Dogs, when they were in New Japan. I was actually sort of late to the Gabe Kidd train, but I was and very late to the David Finlay train. I was a big fan of the act, a huge fan of Alex Coughlin. And now I'm kind of nervous for them here, RL. What's this match gonna be? Are they gonna look stupid across Cage and Christian here?
Yeah, they're gonna make these guys look like geeks, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's kind of my fear, and not in the way where the Dogs win at the end, right?
I'm afraid not. No.
I was hoping you were gonna say, but yeah. Well, how is this going to play out, RL? Is there anything to get excited about here? I don't really like this one on paper.
Yeah, not for me. There is like maybe it's one of those situations where like Cope has like an injury he has to fake 1 minute into the match, and then the rest of it is Christian versus the Dogs in kind of a handicap match.
I'm into this.
And then I'm sure Cope can come back in
and he hits a spear, but it's just on the apron. And he concusses himself. He says, I got to take 2 years off.
You know, I'm not wishing injury. You know,
I wasn't wishing. I was just saying that's one of the possibilities. And I wish
it's that Simpsons line of like, I'm not a well wisher, but I don't wish them any specific harm.
That's right. Yeah, I hope Cope is completely fine and can't make the TV.
That's exactly perfect. Yeah, his bag gets lost at flying out from North Carolina. You know that's nice and easy. They don't actually have any tights in the state of California, and I rip my jeans also, so I can't.
Also out of tights. So, Maddie Mack, you know Clark Connors is going to wrestle hard in this match, right? And I'm sure the Dogs are somewhat viewing this as certainly the biggest match of their AEW career so far. What are you chewing on here?
Well, the Dogs are both elite salesmen, so I am looking forward to them. Despite them looking like geeks, they're going to do a good job of looking like geeks. I think we've learned over the years that is something that they borderline thrive at. We saw them as the kind of looking like dweebs occasionally as gaijin over in New Japan, and they're good at it. And I think if there's anything, it's like hopefully there's some actual wrestling in it, and we get to see David Finlay stand up to one or both of these guys and show that he is, the strong man of that group, and that he can do
A
some
former
actual
Bullet Club
damage.
leader, dude. These are guys held in esteem in wrestling to some degree.
Absolutely, and they brought them over with big reveal, and things were cooking, and I don't think this is going to harm them too much, because I think everyone already knows, like, the writing's on the wall for what's going to happen in this one, and it's that Cope and Cage are winning, and that's that. But I think there is room here for the dogs to shine a little bit brighter, and maybe even they're going to end up looking better than the winning team at the end of this match.
I like that attitude, and I hope you're right.
It's all I have, brother.
I'll take it. A good attitude and a nice smile, the Matty Mac way. Aaron, where are you on this one? Do we enjoy the dogs in AEW, or is this anything more than just sort of a Forbidden Door-ish because they're a New Japan standard tag defense clock in, clock out for Cope and Christian?
I love the dogs. I think they've been a breath of fresh air. They are dangerous in a way that I find really fun. And I do think that Cope and Christian are going to make them look like dweebs because it's all they can do. I am bitter about Cope showing up and making Christian a guy I don't like looking at anymore.
Yeah.
It pisses me off because he was one of my favorite guys on the show.
Yeah, that's
and he says things now that I would have found funny before Cope showed up, but because Cope is in the frame, it pisses me off. So, but I will say that there was a period of time earlier in Cope's AEW run, I think when he had the TBS title, where he was actually pretty generous to a lot of people. He always won over, but he gave people a lot in some of those matches. And so maybe there's some of that in him, right? Like maybe he wanted to work with these guys so he can make them look good. I don't know. I don't think he's capable of really doing that in a meaningful way, but if we can get out of this without him totally making them look awful, I'll take that as a win.
It's also a tag match not involving the Young Bucks or FTR, which they just are going to have to do sometimes. I know we had the Hurt Syndicate Ricochet stuff for a while, but that felt notable for not having those two teams involved as well. So, maybe it'll get there, but I don't feel very invested in it. I would say that a better tag match on this card. And again, this isn't anybody's fault except for my own. I was just like, I had even talked myself into being cool with Cope and Christian versus the Knockout Brothers. I was like, okay, but we're gonna get and so just this is like, all right.
I get the feeling that Tony Khan went straight to David Finlay and said, I need you to eat shit for a little while, but I'm going to book you strong as hell in the C2. Like that's just how it feels to me. He won the G1,
love
right?
David Finlay in the C2. Good call, Bobby.
No, he didn't win the G1.
Yep. Oh, sorry, he won the other tournament, the
New Japan Cup.
New Japan Cup, that's right. Yeah, I'm just picturing him with a giant
great
trophy.
Final match. Oh, thank you. The finals of that are great. Isn't against Goto, if I'm not mistaken. I'm totally blanking, but the match where he wins the New Japan Cup is good. And now Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lana Cross taking on Thunder Rosa and Olympia. Aaron, I wonder if this tag team no one's ever heard of are going to win the tag titles. What do you think?
I think they probably will.
Oh, you think so?
And definitely on the pre-show.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
the place
good,
to do it.
Good.
They're obviously not, but I think this should be pretty good. I like Rosa. I think I might be one of the last Thunder Rosa guys around. She's. I mean, her ceiling is not super high, but I like her matches. Olympia looks insane. She is like, like when Pac stands next to Claudio. It's going to be that kind of thing when she stands next to the other to Megan Bayne, especially, where it's like, okay, you guys are both like huge in very different ways. Olympia is very wide. That should be fun. And yeah, this is I'm probably not going to watch this because it's on the pre-show, but it will be a very good pre-show match. We'll see. Maybe I will. I don't know. The weather's supposed to be bad here this weekend, so maybe I'll just watch it. But I think it's very obvious that Divine Dominion are retaining here. Yeah.
I have to agree with you. Matty Mac, any difference in opinion there, or is this Bayne and Cross flatten these two and away we go?
No, it's Bayne and Cross flattening them, and we get Olympia maybe throwing Lana Cross around a little bit.
3 for 3 RL.
Yes, but I don't know the dynamics in CMLL, but I just want to put out there that a huge woman named Olympia in the Divine Dominion just makes too much sense to not consider.
Yeah.
She should be added to her opponent's group. I don't mind that.
Yeah, like a classic thing. They continue the beatdown after the match, and she's like, "Yeah, fuck Thunder Rosa."
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah,
Now my name, their name. It makes a lot of sense.
this lines up perfectly. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the little one. You're only like 5'11" and 3 feet wide. Like you can be the small you can be the Pac of this group."
They'll call you Tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little.
But Olympia, from what I've seen, she's really cool. Like she's got, like Aaron said, I'm Rosa's fine. I got no problem with Thunder Rosa. There are a lot worse women they could be putting in this position on the roster. And then when Olympia beats the shit out of her after the match, I think we're all on board.
Olympia, beat up Thunder Rosa, beat up Thunder Rosa. If you're gonna be in the building, and I believe our pal Bro Shanito is, get that chant going. Because we need her to turn and join the Divine Dominion. Gentlemen, that is our Forbidden Door preview, top to bottom. I appreciate all three of you joining me. Aaron, what is your message to the people as we get out of here for the night?
Can somebody find out if my grandfather was actually Canadian?
Yes, he was.
Thank you. Excellent.
He, I don't even know what a Canadian name is. I was going to say, well, but but yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Thank you.
Why do you want to move here, Aaron?
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah, I had fun in Calgary, eh?
Yeah.
We had a hell of a meal on Friday, guys. Calgary's
we did,
a fun city, fun time.
And then we saw Mike Santana.
Smaller than we thought. Went to Bret Hart's bar, and Mike Santana walks in, and I was like, I'm 3 beers away from being the TNA World Champion right now. This guy is small. I'll go over there. You think I can't get this guy's shoulders to the floor for 3 seconds? Get this on video. I'm the champ. I'm the champ. I was almost there. So much smaller guy than I was imagining, Matty.
Yeah. It's crazy what they can do with cameras, I'll tell you.
Yeah. They say it adds 10 pounds. That's like maybe a foot or two to that guy.
How many cameras are on this guy, right?
yeah. Multicam setup for Mike Santana. Matty Mac, what's your message to the people as we get out of here? Another great Forbidden Door. Well, not another great Forbidden Door preview, another great pay-per-view preview. This one with Matty Mac.
Yeah, watch Wrestling Brain. Subscribe to Perfect Takes. It's been a hoot paying attention. And just enjoy Aaron's presence, as it's lovely to have.
What a great guy. And check out Matty Mac's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matty Mac, I believe.
Yeah, I should have known the answer to the New Japan Cup question, I guess, since that's the only content on it.
Yeah, have this guy on to be the damn New Japan Cup expert. And RL, of course, the streets are buzzing about Perfect Takes. Anything you want to tell the people directly about it or anything else? Any movie recommendations? Whatever.
Yeah, I guess if you like hockey, you can subscribe to Perfect Takes. Next week, I will have my top 10 movies of the year so far on the Thursday, the free Thursday post. It doesn't cost you anything to read the post on Thursday.
That's a cinch. Sorry, 10 movies of the year so far?
Yes, top 10. Yep.
That's awesome. That's easily worth the price of free. I definitely want that.
Free, name a better price than free.
I literally cannot.
Yeah. And then also I will say my grandfather is Canadian, so just putting that out there.
Are we related?
I don't think so.
Well, yet.
You never know though.
Yeah, you get on ancestry.ca, they say, hey, you're 3% this, you're 10%
My understanding of the Canadian immigration rules is if you can find any member of your family going back 1 million generations who was born in Canada, you're already a Canadian citizen.
All right, we're in business, boys.
Let's do it. Oh man, I'd love if you guys moved up here.
Hit up Ancestry.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. Matty Mac, you might get everybody moving to Calgary.
Great, yeah. 4 generations deep, I think, is all Canada goes. But good luck, Aaron.
Thank you.
I'm the first person in my family born in Canada.
Wow.
I
There
think
you
that
go.
means they can still boot me out, unfortunately. I think the way things
Be
are
careful.
going. Yeah, I'm keeping a low profile. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this Forbidden Door preview. If you're listening to this on podcast services, we'd very much appreciate if you'd rate, tell a friend, somebody you've ever people to watch this over. Say, hey, listen to this before. Get hype. Follow Wrestling Brain, twitch.tv/Wrestling Brain. Of course, check out the merch drop and the free Patreon post. Make your picks. Win a prize. Live forever. Bobby, you get the very last word.
Still a 2.5 for me out of 7, but I'm still going to watch the show.
Love and energy, everybody. Thank you very much.